We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Steve and Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2038. And today's topic is, well, Jill and I are going to talk about establishing access to a property or to a parcel of land where there's none, hoping to add value to the deal. You buy a piece of property or you're looking at buying a piece of property. You can't get to it. You can't physically get to it, or you can't, it's got physical access, but the road just hasn't been developed yet. Is that okay?
Wait.
Can you get access?
You mean legal?
Well, we'll talk to them. Just a big picture right now.
Okay.
You're staring at a piece of property, wondering if you should buy it. You got a response to your mailer. You can't obviously get to it.
There we go. I don't have physical, but I have legal. Or sometimes I have...
Now she's confusing.
And sometimes I have legal and I don't have physical. We'll talk about that.
It's not, it truly is. We're here to demystify it, not complicate it more.
Let us know how we do.
Yeah, let us know.
You decide. You're like, you guys suck. I'm now more confused after this one.
Hey,
okay,
I will say this. Access is one of the original forays.
Mm-hmm.
It comes up on every single deal, as it should.
It's important.
And it has a massive impact financially.
True.
On the price that you would offer to buy a piece of property.
Yep.
So it's really important. We're horsing around here at the beginning of the episode, but access is not anything that we take lightly.
Yep.
Unlike utilities yesterday, which we take lightly. This week, all week, has been adding value. The theme of it has been adding value to your land deal.
Mm-hmm.
Each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum, and we take a deep dive into land-related topics by popular request, Jill.
Cool. So this is a little bit lengthy here, little deals in here, which is good. So Umar wrote, "Hey, I've been seeing an uptick in deals lately. Something I learned as I get into my second year in this business. Build relationships in markets and hit those markets hard with marketing."
Yes.
So last 2 months, here's a breakdown of my success. Oh, good. All right. Deal number 1, 6 acres, buy for 20, sell for 39. Deal 2, 10 acres. Buy for 5, sell for 30. Deal 3, 77 acres. Purchasing for 182,500, listed at 350,000.
That's my kind of deal.
Yeah.
That's our kind of deal.
And deal 4, 4.8 acres. Buy for 10, sell them for 35. A couple more opportunities in the pipeline. If anyone's looking for deal partners, please reach out. Oh, that's the beauty of this community too. There's a partner for you, whether you want a timber person, which we don't do, but they're in our group. I need help with this. I need help with that. I just need money. I don't need money. I want to answer the phone. You do this. There's every possible thing is available now in this community.
I live in Colorado, and I have 3 properties under contract in Florida. I've never been to Florida.
Who can help me?
Help
and
me.
Yep. I'm right
here. Are
here.
these deals great, or are they terrible?
Yep. Exactly. That's so good.
Today's topic, congratulations, Omar. That's great. And if you do 2 of those, and hopefully, I'm not sure if these are done or this
I can't tell too.
Success.
Of my success.
Whatever it is, keep doing it. Today's topic, establishing access to a parcel of land where there is none to add value to the deal. What this is should I buy property that doesn't have apparent access and get access to it, convert it? And the answer is the same answer that I gave on the first episode on Monday about subdividing property. It's very, very rare to buy accessless piece of property and get access. You can do it. We've done it. We did it recently. But it's not something in the beginning of your career that you want to take on unless you're a lawyer, unless you are a real estate attorney. Here's why. This business of easements, the reason that a property doesn't have access is because there's other properties surrounding it that have access to a public roadway, whether it's county or state or federal. It's county or state. And so those properties clearly have access. You can see it. There's a driveway. behind those properties where they're pulling into their garage every night or using it as an industrial building or whatever is your target property. And very often these come back in the mailer because the people who own them probably inherited them, or they didn't care enough to figure out how to create access. So the people that are happily parking in their garages every day could, if they wanted to, or were approached correctly, grant an easement very specifically of a specific part of their property, usually on the edges or the perimeter, to your property. So Joe would call the person who's parking in their garage and say, look, I bought the property, or I'm going to buy the property behind you. Can I pay you for an easement on that side of the property? You guys aren't using it. It's real clear to me. Can I pay $1,000 and I'll do all the paperwork, take the expense, get an easement across your property so I can get access? That's very possible. There are people in our group there have been in the past that do this for a living and do very well. It's very complicated. The easement has to get recorded on the property. In general, every place is different, but in general, the easement gets recorded on the deed of the person who's parking in their garage.
You have to rewrite their legal description because now it's 10 feet less or 20 feet less on the east side, the west side, that kind of a thing. So the thing I would like to add is it is county specific, and when you dig in, and if you can find if it's a compliant county and they have, sometimes they'll have forms to fill out and they're like ready for it and it's not a problem. But most of the time there's more to it than that. But the bare minimum is, it starts with, I would even start before talking to it's either way, whether you want to talk to the individual, see if they're even into it, or just see if it's even possible, what's involved with the county, it's personal preference. But you need both in order to do this. In the real world, what have I really done is usually we seek out properties now. Back then, we're buying anything. It was a Wild West. And some stuff I didn't even know what I had or didn't have. I thought I had access kind of thing. And I would sell it with what I know. So nowadays, though, and the money that we're spending, I'm buying things with legal and physical access. So if I ever get in a pinch, though, and I have had it all but the last 10 feet and had to get that accomplished because it was too late at that point. Somebody missed it. Escrow even missed it. Everybody missed it, kind of thing. And we've got it done. But in the real world, if it's ever happened, like I had one 5 years ago, I'll say, where I really thought we had it and then we found it because everybody's using the road. It was there's a road there, so it's legal, it's physical, but it wasn't recorded legal access. So I'm like, are you kidding me? And we bought it through escrow and nobody caught it. So when we went to sell it, I said, no problem, here's what I'm going to do. I just went to the neighbors and I made sure, and it was a really good compliant county too. I went to the neighbors, sent out a neighbor letter saying, okay, here's my parcel. There were like a couple I could choose from. Well, one of you on either side let me do this kind of thing. And I got one of them to say, yeah. Now, did I go to the extreme and do it? No. What I did was, though, when we sold the property, I said, here's a deal I have in writing. This neighbor on this side will grant you access. It's going to take like 6 months. This is what the typical cost is, and here are the steps kind of thing. I had a great broker in the area who knew how to do this too, by the way. That was very helpful. He knew what it costs. He knew what it takes. As long as somebody agrees to it, here's what to do. And I said, great. And so when I sold it, we just let that all be known. And I sold it through that broker. We let the buyer know these are the steps to get that accomplished.
Thank you for keeping me from all this.
You're very welcome. Yeah, because I didn't do that. And and they're like, well, Jill, why didn't you do that and mark up the price? Well, because there's 2 ways I could do it. I could sell it now in its current condition, make it still a great bargain for that buyer because I'm not doing the work. I'm selling it faster. They're saving money on it, which is what I always choose to do. And everybody won. If I ever had, and I've had situations where I've had buyers go, well, I want a survey done before I buy it. I said, all right. Well, here's the scoop. I could go out, hire the person, walk it, pay for it. It's going to take us a couple weeks to get it all done for you. But I'm telling you now, your purchase price, it's going to be different when I'm done doing this work. Or we could continue with the transaction and you know how much it costs and how long it takes, and then you get it done in your sweet time, and you're going to save a couple grand or more because I'm not doing that work. And then you decide, oh, okay, Jill, you know what? I'll do it myself. Got it. Because, and it's like, these are properties that are 10, 20 acres. It's not like, it's going to encroach where they build, their lifestyle, how they're going to use the property. They really just want to know exactly where the corner is. I think it's here, but it could be here. It's just not a big deal. It's feet.
We're the type of people, if we had 10 acres, 5 acres, and somebody needed access to a property, and we would say yes.
Oh, yeah.
And we'd probably.
Is it going to affect my lifestyle or anything like that? No.
It's 30 feet on the end of their end.
Doesn't really matter. I'm not using that over there anyway. Yeah. Knock yourselves out. And invite me to your party when you have a big party, because you can now build your house back there. Cool.
Look, here's the thing. Here's how access really comes to play in reality, and how it should, if you're new at this, please, this is how it should come into play for you. These anecdotes that we're talking about are serious exceptions. What really happens is the property comes back, you look at it, you run down the list of the 8 A's, and there is access. It's 1 or 2 or 3, number 1 or 2 or 3, depending on you. For us, it's like 1 or 2. And can you get it? Can you look? Can you drive right up to it? Yep. See that road right there? It goes to it. Okay, good. Check. Access is done. That's as much as we look at access in a typical deal. Can you get to it? No, you can't. It's in fact, the seller said, I know there's no access to this property. My grandfather used to tell us that he had to hike up a mile, or he has to take a boat. He took a boat. That happens a lot, specifically in the Pacific Northwest. No, the property doesn't have any access. Okay. They signed our offer at $30,000, but now we know, and the seller knows for sure there's no access to it. Do we want to buy it at all? Usually the answer is no. Or do we want to offer $2,000 instead of $30,000 and then resell it for $10,000? Because it does not have access. Because once you know it has access, you have to legally and ethically disclose that.
Mm-hmm.
Ethically, for sure. So access is, for us, yes or no. Yes? Okay, cool. We're going to buy it. No? Yeah, we're probably going to pass. And that's the beauty of sending out a ton of mail. This topic, I have a story too. I bought a piece of property a million years ago that was in the middle of Bureau of Land Management property. Why there was a piece of property there that was, had an APN, I don't know. So I called I had somebody in my office call BLM, and they said, "Oh yeah, you can get to that property. And here's I'm going to fax you a form, a single page that says you just have to sign all this stuff, and we can give you 99-year access to it by crossing BLM." That's the one and only example in my entire life of working with the federal government that was a pleasure. and I got what I wanted, and I felt like the check that I write every year
is worth it.
Yeah, I got something back for that.
Oh, God.
So there's all these stories of experienced people, but my point is, for you, it either has access or it doesn't. And our business model is not set up, unless you're a very special person, for you to run around and get access to property and have those conversations like Jill did, or like I did with the BLM.
What do you mean by special?
Special meaning
in a good way.
You have some amazing mental illness that you are actually into talking to people that are adjacent property owners and convincing them that you need access.
Or your cousin works in the county and you can push stuff through.
By the way,
just kidding.
If there's any type of foliage or terrain, that 30 feet, properties have no access for a reason. It's not like somebody set out intentionally to create APNs back in the day. And there's usually rivers and gullies and FEMA floodplains and all kinds of stuff that goes on, unless it's flat. Unless it's flat property in the middle of the country, like in Nebraska, and it's being farmed, it probably has access already.
That's funny about that. Think about this scenario. I'm going to paint this picture. This is one of the first things comes up whenever we're doing, would you do this deal? Every Thursday, we have our weekly member call. And would you do this deal? People put in all kinds of scenarios. First thing we do is pull it up a map and look at it. Think about this. You and I automatically, and go to, if there's a subdivision, a lot of the property, it may be a subdivision, and there's a space in the middle of the subdivision, right? The first thing we do is no access and why. Next thing I do is go read the legal description. Often it'll say river, overflow, extra land. There'll be some reason that it's not.
Retention pond.
Yes, it's not being used. So that's, I'm just giving another example because you just reminded me of that. When you said there's probably a reason why that they didn't do access. So before you start beating your head up trying to get access, do that little bit of due diligence and go, oh, yeah, it is in the middle of the whatever. That's
Look,
why.
if it doesn't have access, do
flood zone.
Do yourself a huge favor and just pass on the deal.
Especially when you're new.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't even think about it. I agree with that.
Join us next week for another interesting episode or episodes. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We are Jack and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you find our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.